Dissecting the Black Femmy's Burden by Octavia Anderson. What is misogynoir? Misogynoir is defined as the anti-Black racist misogyny that Black women experience. The term was coined in 2008 by Moya Bailey. Origins of misogynoir typically stem from the effects of the slave trade in America and have created several labels and expectations of Black femmes in all facets of society. The originators of these stereotypes are typically white males who exploited Black women for their physical traits. An example of how Black femmes were treated and perceived is in the 1851 speech by Sojourner Truth, "Ain't I a Woman?" Here's an excerpt from "Ain't I a Woman" by Sojourner Truth. "That man over there says women need to be helped into carriages and lifted over ditches and to have the best place everywhere. Nobody ever lifts me into carriages or over mud puddles, or gives me any place to stay. And ain't I a woman?" So, what made Sojourner make that speech, and how does it relate to today? During the transatlantic slave trade, many enslaved and stolen African women were breeded, raped, and treated as cattle by their masters. This affected how society would regard Black women in the American South during slavery and as free men. Stereotypes based on the slave trade and breeding developed as America developed and affect how Black women are perceived in a post-slavery America. Examples of these stereotypes are the Mammy, the Sapphire, and the Jezebel. So, the Mammy is defined as a Black female caretaker who prioritizes the well-being of white families and mentors, feeds and respects the white children in the home. She sacrifices herself to be the best caretaker. The idea that Black women have inherently maternal instinct and approach to society allows for Black women to be viewed as disproportionately stronger in comparison to white women as mothers. An example of this is the 1939 film Gone with the Wind. Hattie McDaniel played Mammy in the 1939 film Gone with the Wind, and she later won an Oscar in 1940 for her role as Mammy. She was not allowed to attend the premiere of the film, and she could not walk the red carpet at the Oscars. But because she won an Oscar, she was able to play similar characters in Hollywood, and that's how she was able to climb the ladder as a Black woman in Hollywood. Another stereotype of Black femmes is the Sapphire, or the angry Black woman. This is defined as a masculine Black woman thought to be angry, aggressive, and dominant, and in comparison to other racial groups of women as indelicate and disruptive. Another stereotype of Black femmes is the Jezebel. The Jezebel stereotype defined Black women as inherently promiscuous, overtly sexual, and was used as a tool to justify and rationalize the rape of Black women by white men during slavery. How does this dehumanization affect Black femmes' progression in society? It was recently found through research that at the preschool point in where teachers are starting to feel like Black girls are a little too sassy. This is reflective of the Sapphire assumption that Black girls are loud and disruptive. It was also found that Black women who are over the age of 30 are 4 to 5 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes in comparison to white women. This is reflective of the Mammy and Sapphire assumption that Black women are stronger and indelicate, even during pregnancy. The adultification bias is defined as punitive treatment that Black girls experience and is often the primary cause of unfair arrests, suspensions, dress coding, and sexual violence revealed by the placement of negativity on the intersection of being Black and female. This directly stems from the above stereotypes of black femmes. It was also recently found that black girls in DC schools were 20 times more likely to be suspended in comparison to white girls due to infractions of dress codes. And in many states across the country, such as California, black girls are 6 times more likely to be arrested in school in comparison to white girls. Some of the effects of the adultification bias are sex trafficking. It was found that 86% of suspected sex trafficking victims were of the child welfare system, also known as foster care. A third to more than half of these victims were black girls. In 2017, black girls made up more than half of the prostitution arrests despite being underage. And according to the National Center of Violence Against Women in the Black Community, it's been predetermined that 1 in 4 black girls will be sexually abused before the age of 18. Here's a quote from someone who has personally felt the effects of the adultification bias. There was this assumption that you'd probably be cutting up at school. You'd probably be cussing people out. You've been drinking. You had sex yet? But since I'd never thought about that before, they were basically introducing me to these topics right there and then. In recent media, there's been a blatant occurrence of misogynoir. Female rapper and superstar Megan Thee Stallion was shot in the summer of 2020 by a male rapper named Tory Lanez. Megan was mocked by many of her peers in the music industry, some being retired rapper 50 Cent, who made a meme of her, comparing her to a male character in the movie Boys in the Hood. Rapper Cameron also made a transphobic statement, stating that Megan has male reproductive organs and tricked Tory Lanez into thinking that she's female. This is just another example of how misogynoir affects black femmes today. In conclusion, black femmes are still being held captive under standards that are not relevant to any full human being. The dehumanization of black women and girls works to kill the voice of black femmes, diluting the courage to own one's humanity and truth without the consequence of a burden too large to weigh on a scale. Black girls and women deserve to be protected by society. Thank you.